At the start of the drama, we see the hero Kaiseon and Miju running. Kaiseon is running while jogging, whereas Miju is running to go to a film carnival. Then Kaiseon comes to a red carpet show with his mom. His mom is a superstar. After the photo shooting, Kaiseon goes away from there, whereas his mom's radio interview is happening there. Just then, Miju stops there after seeing her because she is her very huge fan. Then she gets a call from her friend who is waiting for her at the film carnival. Miju tells her, "I saw my favorite star." In the next scene, Miju is watching a movie with her friend. At the end of the movie, Miju's name is written because she had translated this movie. Then they both are sitting outside. Just then, Miju's ex-boyfriend comes there, who was the director of that movie. He tells Miju, "Come with me to the team dinner." Miju does not want to go, but she has to go there. Miju's professor is also there. After a short time, Miju starts to leave from there, but her professor says to her in anger, "Miju has absolutely no talent. You are in this field because of your beauty, but because of increasing age, you are becoming boring." Hearing this, Miju starts to come outside from there. So the professor spills a drink on her. No one says anything there, so Miju says to the professor, "Even though you were my professor before, you have no right to behave like this. You do not even have the manners to talk to any student." Hearing this, the professor gets angry and starts to swear at her, so some people there stop him. Now, in this pulling and tugging, the professor's wig comes off and falls on Miju's hand. Seeing this, everyone smiles there. Miju throws that wig on the professor's face and goes away from there. Then on the road, she collides with Kaiseon, due to which all of Miju's luggage falls down. Kaiseon sees a gun-like lighter, which he holds. So Miju says, "This is just a lighter." Just then, Miju's ex-boyfriend comes there and says to her, "You will have to apologize to the professor right now." And he starts to pull and take her away. Kaiseon aims that gun towards him and says, "Let go of her hand. Otherwise, I will fire at you." Then fireworks start happening there, getting scared of which the ex-boyfriend falls down. So Miju runs away from there. In the next scene, Kaiseon is doing running practice, from which we come to know he is a national running athlete. His team member, Yu Seok, comes to him and says, "You are a very good athlete, but still, people in the academy do not like you." Kaiseon says, "These things do not matter to me." In the next scene, Miju's ex-boyfriend tells her, "The professor himself will now do the translation work in your place, therefore, you have been kicked out." Due to this, Miju gets worried and goes to talk to the professor. She apologizes to him, but the professor says in a very rude way, "Because of you, I have been very insulted. Therefore, I will not forgive you." In the next scene, Kaiseon sees in the changing room that there are many scars on Yuseok's body, as if he has been beaten a lot. He explains to him, "There is no need to get beaten by anyone without reason. You can complain about this." In the next scene, Miju goes with her friend and requests the professor, "Get me some work." Just then, the professor gets a call in which a man says, "Arrange a translator for my son." So the professor gives that job to Miju. In the next scene, someone tells Miju on text, an updated version of the gun-like lighter has arrived. He sends all the details to Miju's. In the next scene, Kaiseon gets his sister's call. She tells him, "Come to the family gathering." Then we see a girl, Dana, who is the president of Kaiseon's agency. Kaiseon and his sister work under her. In the next scene, Miju has come to take that gun-like lighter from the buyer, but that man takes money from her and does not give her the gun and starts to run away from there. Miju runs behind him. At the same time, Kaiseon is passing by from there while talking to Dana on the phone. Seeing Miju running, he takes something from the hand of a passing boy and hits that running man. That thing is quite heavy, due to which that man falls right there. Miju takes the gun from him. All the people there stop after seeing the gun in her hand. Then Kaiseon also comes there. Miju is about to say to him, "Thanks." Just then, the police also come there, who, seeing the gun in Miju's hand, start taking her to the police station. She tells Kaiseon, "Come along too." In the next scene, both record their statements in the police station. Then both come outside, so it has become quite late at night. Miju says to Kaiseon, "Sorry, because of me, your time was wasted." She then tells him, "Have dinner with me." But he refuses, and taking Miju's number says, "If I ever have to eat something, I will call you." He then asks her, "Why do you want to buy a fake gun? That too, by paying so much money?" So she says, "It is not necessary that only real things are costly. Fake things can also be expensive. It is not necessary that everything has a reason." She asks him, "Why did you help me?" He says, "I helped you without any meaning." The next morning, Miju comes to that translator job. There, seeing Kaiseon's ad running, she thinks, is he some celebrity? Just then, Dana comes and asks her, "What is the reason for your arrival?" So she asks her, "What about the translator job?" After which they both talk in a cafe. Dana gives Mi-ju the translator job. Just then, Ki-seon comes there. So Dana tells Mi-ju, you have to work for Ki-seon. Mi-ju thinks, who is he after all? I have met him many times before too. He then tells Mi-ju, I have your gun. So Mi-ju says to him, are you crazy? So he says, no, I am Ki-seon. Mi-ju says, it does not matter to me. I am just happy about the fact that you have my lighter. Donna, who is listening to their conversation, says, do you both smoke together? How did you both meet? So Mi-ju signals to Ki-seon, do not tell Dana anything about this. Then Dana says to Mi-ju, I have to talk to Ki-seon alone, therefore you go outside. She says, I am going anyway. Then while coming back, Mi-ju sees Ki-seon's photo in a newspaper. Then Dana says to Ki-seon, it has come in the newspaper about your affair with some actor. Ki-seon says, I do not even know him. I just had a photo shoot with him in the past few days. Then he comes outside. So Mi-ju comes and says to him, when will you return my lighter to me? He says, the lighter is not with me right now. So she says, okay, next time when we meet, you keep it with yourself. Mi-ju also tells him, I want to give you a treat for helping me. And please do not tell the police station matter to Dana. Otherwise, she will fire me from the job. So Ki-seon says, it will not matter to Dana because right now, she is excited about my love affair, even though my name is attached with someone or the other for gossip. Then Ki-seon tells her, when I am free, I will message you for the treat. In the next scene, Mi-ju gets Ki-seon's schedule, in which it is written about him going to Jeju Island. In the next scene, Mi-ju's friend tells her, Ki-seon's background is very social. He is the son of your favorite artist. Hearing this, she gets shocked. In the next scene, many boys are beating Yoo-seok. He says to them, you all are jealous of Ki-seon because he is a better athlete than all of you. On this matter, those people beat him again. Ki-seon is passing by from that same place. Hearing the voice, he comes there and seeing Yoo-seok like this, he takes him to the hospital. Then he is sitting with him in the hospital, so Yoo-seok asks him, did you complain? So he says, not right now, but I will definitely complain to the coach this time. But Yoo-seok stops him. He says to him, why do you want this? So he says, my family background is weak, therefore I cannot complain. Today, by mistake, I had hit a boy there. If this matter becomes known to everyone else, I will be kicked out. Ki-seon says to him, nothing like this will happen. You just focus on your career now. Then Ki-seon goes and beats those boys. Then he also goes and tells a coach, those boys beat Yoo-seok. But it does not matter to the coach. Therefore, he gets angry at Ki-seon. Your match is about to come. You should not have done anything like this. Hearing this, Ki-seon gets very angry. In the next scene, an artist whose name is Lee Young is working on a painting. In the next scene, Mi-ju is sitting in a restaurant and working. Just then, Dana, seeing her there, asks her about Ki-seon. How do you know him? So she says, he is a celebrity. But Dana does not believe her. Dana sees a painting there. She touches it. So due to the color being wet, it gets on her coat. She then buys that painting at the reception by paying double. After she leaves, Lee Young comes there and looks at his painting, which is not on the wall. Therefore, he asks, what about the painting at the reception? So that lady tells him, someone bought it at double price. So Lee Young gets happy. Just then, Mi-ju recognizes Lee Young upon seeing him. He tells her, I am an artist. Right now, I am learning about this. In the next scene, Dana comes to her office, so Ki-seon is sitting there. Dana, seeing the injury mark on his face, asks, what is this? So he says, I beat the people who bullied Yoo-seok. I took revenge on them. So Dana starts laughing. So Ki-seon says, are you making fun of me? So she says, no, actually I thought, revenge is only taken in motivational dramas. He says, there is nothing funny in this. She says, instead of beating them, you could have explained to them anyway. He says, I wanted to treat them exactly the same way as they treat that junior. She says to him, you will have to be a little careful because no company can tolerate violence. The people you have beaten can also file a case against you. Then your image can get even more ruined. He says, are you serious? So she says, will I joke with you? Then Dana calls the doctor. Ki-seon has an injury on his face, so get him in contact with a dermatologist. She says, now there will be a photo session through which all things will be covered. Then Ki-seon comes outside the agency, so he meets that celebrity's boss with whom Ki-seon's photos had gone viral. He starts speaking badly about Dana, but Ki-seon stops him and says, Dana is a very competent girl. Then that boss says, you are using that artist. Ki-seon says, I have only met him once. I am not dating him. That man says, evidence is present that you both are in a relationship and anyone can prove this. Ki-seon says, these are only rumors, in which there is no truth. and you should also not get into this. In the next scene, we see Ki-seon is changing his dress after doing exercise in the gym when he gets Miju's call. She invites him for a treat. Then we see Miju coming, and just then, she sees Ki-seon running. She thinks, how fast he runs. Ki-seon runs past her and leaves. Then she calls him and says, you just ran away from here right now. After a short while, she sees Ki-seon is coming running back towards her, and she starts looking at him continuously. She says to him, you do very fast running. Then Miju asks, do you like watching movies? He says, no. She says, will you go to watch my movie with me? Ki-seon gets shocked. Your movie? She says, yes. Then we see both of them in the theater. While watching the movie, Ki-seon is getting very bored. Upon the movie ending, when she sees her name, she gets happy and tells him, I translated this. Ki-seon says, but this was very boring. Miju says, that is why it was very difficult for me to translate it. Then they both are drinking in an open-air restaurant. She says to him, once I watched a movie, but there were no subtitles on it. For this reason, I thought, I should do translator work. Now I get a very rich feeling from this. Then he tells her, my dream earlier was to run fast. Therefore, I worked very hard on this thing. She asks him, when you run, what kind of feeling do you get? He says, while running, I do not think about what is left behind. There is only the finish line in front of me, and I have to cross it. But today, when I was running, the finish line in front of me was you. And I reached you in less than 9 seconds. Hearing this, Miju smiles. Then both are coming towards the house in a drunk state. Both have drunk quite a lot, therefore Ki-seon is talking nonsense. Then Miju starts to leave from there, but Ki-seon sits right there. In the next scene, we see that celebrity who comes to the parking. Seeing Ki-seon near her car there, she gets shocked. She says, what are you doing here? He says, I have come to see a famous star. She says, thanks for the compliment, but we should not meet again. When he starts to leave, she says, perhaps you have benefited a lot because of our scandal. Just then, her boss comes there and starts fighting with her. He says, you said you are dating him. You have always lied to me. He says to Ki-seon, my eyes are only on you. Just then, Miju also comes there. Seeing that celebrity, she gets very happy. Then Ki-seon suddenly kisses Miju. Both get shocked seeing this. Miju also gets shocked. Ki-seon holds her hand and says, this is my girlfriend. Miju says, are you crazy? Seriously? He laughingly says, yes, seriously. After which he falls on Miju's shoulder and faints. Then Miju starts to take him from there. The next day, Ki-seon's eyes open, so he sees Miju cleaning in front of him. Her friend Mei-yi says to Ki-seon, we live together because we are friends. Do not think anything wrong. Ki-seon says to her, I am Ki-seon. Then Miju gives him hangover medicine. Eat this first. After that, get fresh. Then after freshing up, he eats breakfast with them. Then he asks, how did I come here? So Miju tells him, you had fainted, so I had to carry and bring you. So he says, I do not remember anything after that kiss. He says, you should have hit me when I kissed you. So Miju says, that was not a kiss. Our lips just bumped. He says, your lip balm is very sweet. Mei-yi says to him, similar people often live together. Ki-seon says, so really, this is no dream. Then both come outside, so Miju, praising his car, says, will you drop me? He says, I am going to meet Dana because I have to say sorry to her. Then he does not find Dana in the office. So coming outside, he tells Miju, she is busy somewhere. Therefore now we will have to go to the hospital. Then suddenly Ki-seon notices that Miju is driving the car, so he shockingly says, is it your plan to steal my car? She starts laughing. After which they come to a games bar where Miju, by shooting, wins and gives him a toy. You take this for that patient. He will not get bored alone there. Then Miju gets Mr. Jong's message. Therefore, she starts to go to work. Ki-seon says to her, thanks. Then Ki-seon comes to the hospital to meet Yoo Se-ok. There, his grandma leaves for her work after telling Ki-seon, stay right there. Ki-seon then gives Yoo Se-ok that doll. With this, you will not get bored here. In the next scene, Ki-seon has come to a family dinner with his sister, Eun-bi. There, they click photos together. On the other side, Mei-yi shows Miju the assemblyman's photos. He is Ki-seon's dad. Seeing his family photo there, she remembers Ki-seon's words. He is used to all this. There, while eating food, Ki-seon's dad asks him, which actress are you dating? So he says, I am not dating anyone. His mom says, that actress is very cheap. Then his dad asks him, what is the reason for being in the police station? You should absolutely not be seen in such places. Ki-seon's mom stops them, but he says, why do you not learn anything from your sister? She has always been playing golf and is coming in first position in this, whereas you have come only in second position. You should be shameful. Ki-seon, getting hurt by his words, says, you normally start scolding me over a small thing. Dad says, I love you, therefore I make you understand. Dad says, now because you assaulted your juniors, the discipline committee that is going to sit on you, I will handle it. Just keep your mouth shut. But he says, you do not do anything because I want to get punished. Hearing this, his dad gets angry and throws a glass towards him, due to the breaking of which a slight cut occurs on Kaiseon's face. So he goes away from there in anger. At night, Miju is going to her house. On the way, she sees Kiseon, who is sitting alone and eating food. So Miju goes to him and starts talking. Seeing the cut on his face, she gives him ointment to apply. Kiseon was quite depressed, but after talking to Miju, he starts feeling a little better. In the next scene, the discipline committee holds a hearing for Kiseon, so those people do not give him any punishment because his dad has given money to everyone so that his political career does not get affected. Those people let Kiseon go. Kiseon gets very angry at those juniors, but he stops himself and comes outside. He is feeling quite angry at his dad. He then goes to the coach and says, Yoo Seok gave you the evidence of the torture that happened to him. What did you do with it? Then we see in a flashback, Yoo Seok tells Kiseon, I have given the evidence to the coach. With this, you will get less punishment. So Kiseon says, there's no need for you to worry for me. When he says, I am feeling good staying in the hospital. No one can beat me here. In the present, the coach says, there was no benefit in submitting that evidence. Kiseon says, how can you say this? The coach says, now the problem is solved. You should have talked and solved the matter beforehand so that the matter did not reach up to here. He says, you mean to say I should not have spoken against the torture that happened to Yoo Seok at all? Who are you to say this? The coach gets angry at him. So his secretary stops him. So the coach says, you get special protocol because of your dad. Do not take advantage of that thing. Then he goes away from there. Those juniors who had assaulted Yoo Seok also start to leave. So Kiseon says, you will have to apologize to Yoo Seok. So he says, we will do no such thing. You have been let go because of your dad? By the way, there is not much difference between you and us. So Kiseon becomes sad and goes away from there. On the other side, Kiseon's dad calls Miju to meet. He says to her, you are an interpreter. Therefore, I am sure you know how to lighten every type of matter. I want you to report everything Kiseon does to me from now on. You will have to become his spy and work for us. He gives Miju an envelope in which there is some money. Miju does not want to take it, but Kiseon's dad leaves for a meeting at that very time. The next day, Miju comes to Jeju Island because a sports event is going to happen there. So Kiseon, along with Yoonbi, picks Miju from the airport. Foreign reporters take his interview, so Miju does the translator work there. At night, Miju, while taking out her luggage, sees the envelope given by Kiseon's dad and thinks they are very annoying. Therefore, Kiseon remains so depressed. Then she asks the hotel staff, what is his room number? To return the money to Kiseon's dad. So she comes to know he has not come yet. He will come tomorrow. When Miju is walking in the garden, someone starts following her. So Miju starts moving forward quickly, but that man reaches near her, due to which she gets scared and sits right there. Kiseon calls out to her. So Miju says, what are you doing here? Out of fear, she starts crying. Kiseon asks her, forgive me because you got scared because of me. Miju says, like some madman, why were you running so late at night? He tells, a lot was going on in my mind. Therefore, I was not getting sleep either, so I came to do running. I still have to do a little running. She says, your schedule is so tight, still you are not getting sleep? He tells her, I have to complete my running right now. You wait for me right here. Then he starts running and Miju is looking at him. After some time, Kiseon comes to her and asks, are you feeling better now? So Miju says, yes, I am fine now. By the way, if I had my gun at that time, I would have shot you with it. Kiseon asks, does this mean that lighter gun was for self-defense? So Miju says, yes, it is like that. By the way, did you bring my gun? He says, it is at my training center. And for some time I cannot go there because I hit my junior. Hearing this, Miju gets shocked. Then he tells Miju, this is why I did that. He also tells her, I have to do all those things too, which I do not like. I can forget all the things at night so that the next day I can make a new start which refreshes me. But sometimes I do not understand what I should do. Miju says, if it is such a matter, then the things you do not like, do not do them. Just do only that which gives you happiness, because you also have the full right to stay happy. She says, I did not want to come here, but I had to come. Therefore, I am a loser. You should not do so. Kiseon feels very good hearing this from Miju. He tells her, I am happy that you came here. Then he asks Miju for a handshake. Miju says, finally, we have shaken hands. He says, I hope we will walk together for a long time. Miju smiles. The next day, Ki-seon comes to the park, so Yoo Seok is sitting there. He asks him, "What are you doing here?" So he says, "I have come to watch your match." He says, "The coach told me the disciplinary committee did not punish anyone, but I am still happy. I just have the sorrow of this fact that I cannot run with you." Ki-seon says, "When we come to Jeju Island again, then you will be with me." He says, "Those two did not get punishment, meaning they did not do anything wrong. Therefore, I should also forgive them." Ki-seon says, "Can you forgive them?" He says, "Yes." But Ki-seon says, "Absolutely not. You will not forgive them." Later, there is a practice game for Ki-seon and all the other athletes. Dana tells Ki-seon, "Perform well because foreigners have also come here." Then, before the game starts, Ki-seon comes to his dad and says, "To save me, you gave money to the committee members. I said it right, no? Answer me." So his dad says, "You do not need to know all this. You just focus on your game. Today, the eyes of a lot of people will be on you, so do not create any trouble." He says, "You should not have let me come here at all. I gave you a chance, but you lost it." Miju comes there and sees Ki-seon practicing. Then when the race starts, everyone else starts running, but Ki-seon stands right there. Seeing this, all the people get shocked. Ki-seon comes to the reporters, so everyone asks, "Why did he not run?" He says, "I hit my junior. That is why I have no right to run in the race." Then he looks towards Miju, so she is also quite shocked. He says to Miju, "Will you translate and tell this to these reporters?" Miju thinks, he has definitely gone mad. Then she conveys his message to the reporters, after which she starts to go behind Ki-seon. He says, "I have played my move. Now let us wait for its result." Dana, seeing all this, says to her secretary, "Spill water on the electronic items of these reporters so that they become disabled." Right there, some reporters seeing Yoo Seok ask him, "Did Ki-seon assault you?" He says, "No, he is very good with me." Just then, the coach comes and handles everything and sends Yoo Seok away from there. On the other side, Ki-seon is packing his luggage, so his dad comes there in anger and says to Miju, "Do you think I hired you just as an interpreter? Why did you not do as I told you?" So she says, "I did exactly what Ki-seon told me. Did you ask me to become only Ki-seon's eyes and ears?" Dad says, "You are very disrespectful." Ki-seon says, "You have no right to get angry at her." So he says to Ki-seon, "I told you, doing this will affect my political career." Ki-seon says, "When I was a javelin thrower, I had my surgery. Then do you remember what you said? You said, your shoulder has gotten damaged, but your legs are healthy. So you try in soccer. Even now God has given you a chance to fulfill your dream. Use this. I did not want to play soccer, nor was becoming a national athlete my dream. Then how can you do my future planning? If my legs were also injured, then what thing would you have used? You would marry me in such a family that can secure your political career." Dad slaps him in anger and says, "You are very ungrateful. You have no idea at all how much I love you." Ki-seon says, "Unwanted love also comes in violence only." Dad says angrily, "You go away from here. I do not even want to see your face." Then Ki-seon takes his luggage and starts to leave from there. Miju also comes behind him. Then he says, "Did my dad hire you?" She says, "Yes, but not like how you are understanding." He says, "Let us go to the resort. My car is there." Then they both are standing on the beach. Miju, seeing him standing close to the water, says, "I am feeling scared. What if you fall in the water? Therefore, come back a little." He says, "I have seen the sea after a long time. Therefore, I could not take my eyes off it." Then she says, "I am feeling hungry." So Ki-seon starts laughing. Then they both are eating food in a restaurant. He says, "After whatever happened today, I will be fired. Therefore, I will have to leave the training center too. I am thinking, then what will I do?" So she says, "You are talking like nothing has happened at all. You will not remain a national athlete now." He says, "Yes, now I am only Ki-seon." She says, "Do you not feel scared?" So he says, "I have become used to all this. Therefore, now I do not feel anything." She says, "Your parents are strict." Ki-seon says, "Did you think we are a happy family?" She says, "Therefore you are so perfect. They have raised you very well." He says, "You are overestimating me." Miju says, "You should stay very confident." He says, "I grew up just like this. This world was very good for me. Therefore, I thought I should also be good with everyone." She says, "Looking at whatever happened today, it seems this world was harsh for you. You are making me curious." He says, "Curious for what?" Miju says, "You risked your career to help a junior. So I wonder, when you fall in love with someone, how will you react?" He says, "You want to know a lot about me." Miju says, "Yes, I do not know why I am getting curious." He says, "I sometimes think about that day when I saw you running. I mostly run to do a race or training because I do not want to tire myself. She says, but that day you also ran very fast. He says, because you were waiting for me there. Mi-ju gets shocked by his words. Then they both are coming back. Ki-seon, while looking at something on the mobile, asks her, what kind of articles have reporters written? So she says, this is very much exaggerated and blunt. This is quite a lot worse even than your recent scandal. Ki-seon says, what is written? So she says, they are busy proving you wrong without proof. Like, you broke up with that actor, so you took out his anger on the juniors. That actor is mentioned in all the articles from which your name will spread everywhere. I am getting very angry. Ki-seon says, do not get angry. Yes. She says, you have no tension at all? Did they not teach you to love yourself in school? He says, I remained busy in training. Therefore, I did not take classes. Then Mi-ju, looking outside, says, where are we? How dark it is outside. Ki-seon says, this is the road going to the afterlife. Then Ki-seon is getting ready for a shoot in the salon. Mi-ju, looking at him, comes outside thinking about the articles that were published against him, so Ki-seon's dad's secretary comes there and says to her, you do not have to work with Ki-seon anymore. And she says, but my work has not finished yet. What if I want to go after finishing my work? Can it happen like this? And he says, I was told to give you this order. Further, it is your choice. Mi-ju gives the money envelope to him. I cannot take this because I did not do as I was told. Then Dana comes to Ki-seon and says, have you read the articles? Have you thought anything about the issue you have created? He says, even if I get punished, people will realize that it is wrong to use power to bully one's juniors. He says, okay, you also tell Yoo-seok, this is what you have to say in the interview. This is my idea. He will tell the whole truth in the interview. Later, Ki-seon says to Mi-ju, if Yoo-seok tells in the media that I hit them to help him, then I want you to not translate these things because I do not want my dad to create any problem for you. Mi-ju says to him, you should only think about yourself at this time. In the next scene, Mi-ju gives an interview to the reporters along with Yoo-seok, in which he tells everything. Standing outside, Ki-seon is watching both of them. Then, after the interview, Mi-ju starts to leave from there, so Ki-seon says to her, I will drop you to the airport. She says, I will go myself. He says, you will not get a taxi from here. She says, I handled the interview. This was not because I felt any obligation. I just wanted you to be seen as a good villain. He then stops her and asks, do you like me? Whatever you have said until now, everything seems to be pointing towards that. Mi-ju becomes silent. So he says, am I wrong? If it is not like this, then you can tell me. Mi-ju says, I like you. Is this a way to confess? Or did you want that whatever I said that itself should be understood as a confession? Did I give you the wrong idea? He says, if you felt bad about my words, then I say sorry. Mi-ju says, you should fix this habit of touching others whenever you want. Oh, it seems as if you want me to misunderstand it. Then she leaves from there. In the next scene, the secretary tells Ki-seon's dad, Dana has solved the matter. What should be done next? He says, try to get his retirement. I have raised him from so high but of no use. He wants me to bow down in front of others. Then they go in front of the press conference. In the next scene, Mi-ju messages Ki-seon, take your lighter. So he sends her the hotel address. I am here. You come here. Mi-ju goes there, so he asks her, did my dad pay you? She says, you are a very good person. This is the truth. He paid me, and I took that money. You can be disappointed with me. He says, I have always been embarrassed by my dad being like this. Why did you take the money? She says, the people who give me money, they already know my weakness. You will not realize this thing because you are rich. But my encounter has often been with such people who think I will compromise only by taking money from them. If I do not take it, then they feel I ignored them. Then she asks Ki-seon, now that you have come to know that I got money, how are you feeling? You can hate me. So he says, I do not want this. Even if your words are false, they are special to me. She says, why are you acting so kind? He says, because I want to do this. Mi-ju says, you do not need to do this. I am feeling as if I have broken. Therefore, stop all this. I normally do not have a problem taking such money. This is not my lowest point either. Rather, I am like this, but this time I am feeling uneasy because of you. You have made me feel that I am worthless. Therefore, I am feeling very bad. Give me my gun. Ki-seon brings the gun from inside and gives it to her. So she says, whatever happened between us, forget everything. He says, I will give it to you if you say that you will not take it. She says, are you joking? I will not say anything like this. Then taking the gun, she leaves from there. In the next scene, Mi-ju has come to a hotel with her friends. One of her classmates had called everyone there saying, I want to give you my wedding invitations. Mi-ju's friend asks her, why are you not getting married? So she says, why are you getting married? She says, because my parents want this. How do I explain it to you? You will understand yourself when your time comes. She says, I am fine being single. Her other friend says, anyway, you stay busy in part-time jobs. So one friend says, why do you not take money from your parents? Hearing this, Mi-ju becomes sad. Just then the other one quiets that friend. So she says to her, sorry, I forgot your parents have died. Then we see Kai Seon leaving from there. He was sitting at the table behind Mi-ju. After a short while making an excuse, Mi-ju says sorry to her friends and comes outside. Seeing a cigarette in her bag, she is searching for a lighter. Just then, Ki Seon comes there and takes the cigarette from her hand. Mi-ju notices that he was also in the restaurant. Therefore, she asks him, were you following me? What did you hear? He says, why? What do you mean? I was listening to music. He says, I had to talk to you about one thing. Yoo Seok wants to give you a treat. He asked me, tell her. So please accept his treat. Mi-ju agrees. In the next scene, Mi-ju comes to a restaurant for the treat. Just then, Ki Seon also comes and sits there. Just then, he gets Yoo Seok's message. He tells Mi-ju he will not be able to come because of some work. He said, you both eat food. Then both eat food together and drink. She asks, is Yoo Seok physically fine now? Ki Seon says, yes, he is better now. Mi-ju says, and how are you? He says, people call me a violent athlete now. He asks her, what are you doing nowadays? She says, I am also working on a project. He tells, I have been disqualified. Mi-ju says, but I did not read anything like this. He says, those articles will be published soon. Do you know that the athletes who are fast, they are born like this? We get trained by practicing, but still we can run fast only up to a limit. That is why the people who want to become athletes, they should be properly trained and guided from a young age. She says, otherwise our country will suffer a loss. Ki Seon says, do you think it is the athlete's fault that we are not able to win a gold medal? She says, I do not know much about this. So Ki Seon says, actually we do not have an organized environment where we can recognize these young athletes and do their proper training and development. Therefore, I want to create such an environment where focus can be put on sports. Mi-ju says, you should sponsor such people. You are helping Yoo Seok too. Like Jerry Maguire going against the system, you are helping people. He then says about Dana, she supports me a lot. She always worries about my public image. She has always protected me like a shield. Mi-ju says, you are also protecting Yoo Seok like this. He says, no, I could not do so. So Mi-ju says, this is also a part of your success journey. Jerry Maguire also fell completely down before becoming successful. Ki Seon asks, who was he? So she says, do you know that movie in which Tom Cruise acted? He says, no. What was its title? So she says, Jerry Maguire. Kai Seon, I feel asking questions like this is a good habit. Mostly people do not ask or only talk about personal things. Mi-ju says, hey, you must have been a good student. So he says, I feel I should start studies again because now I have become jobless. So Mi-ju says, what will you study? He says, English. Mi-ju says, by yourself? So Ki Seon says, will you teach me? She says, I am busy in my project. 2 years ago from today, I used to teach. He says to himself, I should have met you only then. Mi-ju says, what are you saying? So he says, nothing. Then he says, if I am bored, can I hang out with you? She says, yes, sure. Then Mi-ju comes back and publishes an article about Ki Seon, which goes viral the next day. Ki Seon runs and goes to Yoo Seok, but he does not see him anywhere. Then we see when he, giving an interview to the reporter, says, I am leaving sports. Now, Ki Seon goes to Mi-ju and asks, you knew from beforehand, no? She says, yes. So Ki Seon says, then why did you not tell me? She says, you did all this so that he would continue sports further. Therefore, I felt your heart would break knowing that he is quitting. He says, why did you let me find out in this way? She says, you still have to learn a lot. You take care of all the people around you. Did you not think that innocent/good boy would also feel the same way? No person deserves to endure pain like this. It is raining outside. So she tells him to come inside. Then she consoles him by hugging him. He says, are you comforting me? So she starts laughing. In the next scene, Kai Seon is in a disciplinary meeting. Those people say, because of your good performance, we are giving you a chance. You will only be suspended for 6 months. He says, but I do not want this. I am taking retirement from this field. All the people there get shocked hearing this. On the other side, Mi-ju is sitting in a cafe thinking about Ki Seon. Just then, Donna comes there. She says to her, have you met Ki Seon? She does not tell her anything. Then Danny orders coffee and sits at the adjacent table. After a short while, Ki Seon comes there. So Mi-ju hides her face upon seeing him. Donna gives a contract document to Ki Seon. I have now hired Yoon B. Therefore, I do not need you. That is why we become friends again. I heard you have left the hotel. He says, yes. After retirement, I did not want to stay there. She says, media is considering you a hero now, so you have taken the decision to retire. He says, you are not my agent now, therefore you cannot ask me anything. She says, where will you live now? He says, I do not know, but I will arrange somewhere or the other. She says, I am worried for you because you have no place to live. You can shift to my apartment. He says, no, I will arrange it. She says, you used to live there earlier too. I live with my family anyway. Donna smiles at looking at Miju, so Ki-seon starts looking back. But Dana turns his face towards herself and says, if you want, I will live with you. Seeing this, Miju stands up. So Ki-seon, seeing her, asks, since when are you sitting here? Dana says to Kai-seon, I got the floors remade and got natural marble tiles from Brazil installed. Miju says, if you fall on them, your skull itself will burst. Dana says, I am getting an outdoor pool made there. Ki-seon says, why waste money on something that you hardly use? She says, from the window there, you will see a very good view of the Han River. Miju says, it must be very hot there in summer. Dana says, there might be nothing worth giving in your house. Miju says, I live in a 3-room apartment, on whose wooden floors no one's skull will burst, and it is at a 5-minute distance from here. You can even go walking. Kai-seon says, why are you both talking like this? Dana starts to leave from there, so Miju comes behind her and says, do you enjoy doing this with others? She says, do I look like this to you? Miju says, if it is not so, then explain to me what was all that inside. So Dana says, he is emotionally upset, therefore he needs someone's company. But neither he has friends, nor a girlfriend, nor an agent, and his family is also useless. Therefore, I thought only you can take the best care of him. That is why I made all that joke. Then Kai-seon comes outside and says to Miju, is it your plan to go with her? So she says, no. She says, have you retired? He says, yes. Do you need a lift to go home? You will reach quickly. So she happily starts to sit in his car. Reaching home, Kai-seon gives her that dress which he had given her to wear. Oh, he starts to leave, so Miju says to him, where will you go? So he says, to some other hotel. So Miju says to him, bye, and goes inside the house. In the next scene, seeing Ki-seon in the garden, Miju thinks, he has not even messaged me for many days. Then she goes to him. So he says, how did you come here? She says, will I have to think of some excuse for you again? She then asks him, what were you doing here? Do you want to live with me in my house? He says, is this possible? Can I stay there for some days? She says, yes, let us go. Now coming home, Miju keeps her gun aside. So he says, this is quite precious to you. You always keep it with you. This is not just for safety, right? She says, this was used for a prop in one of my favorite movies. I bought it from an auction. In the movie, all the actors had held that gun at least once. One day I met Ms. Colangelo at a film festival, so I told her, I am your big fan. I also have your movie's gun. So will you give me an autograph? In this way, she gave me an autograph. Then she pours and gives juice to Kai-seon. He says, meaning you did not buy this gun without any reason either. She says, yes, a person does not do anything without reason. People often also say, we helped another without reason so that we can save that person from the burden. Therefore, I feel nothing happens without a reason. He says, which is my room, I have to unpack my luggage. So she says, this is your room. He says, this is the lounge. So she says, there are only 2 rooms here, one mine and the other Mei-yi's. So you will have to stay right here. Miju is working, so she gets Ma-yi's call, I will come late from work. She says, Ki-seon is in our house. So she says, okay. The next morning, looking at Ki-seon, she asks, you slept right here at night, no? I came here a short while ago, then you were not there. He says, I had gone for running. Then coming back, while making lunch for himself, he thinks about Miju because her room was closed. Then when he is eating the evening food, Miju comes outside and says, you are right here. He says, I used some stuff from the fridge. I will restock it tomorrow. So Miju says, no matter. Then she puts cornflakes in milk and starts eating. So Ki-seon says to her, why are you eating this? So she says, this is my meal. After which she eats quite a lot of multivitamin pills. Kai-seon is quite surprised, so she says, I eat all this to stay healthy. The next day, Kai-seon comes home after doing grocery. So Miju is drinking a milkshake. He says to her, what is this? So she says, this is my meal. I do not like eating fruits, therefore I make a shake and drink it. In the next scene, Miju's phone is left outside, so Ki-seon goes to give it to her in her room. So she starts telling him about her work. She tells him, this is my work. This is my diary in which I write my problems. So Ki-seon writes in her diary, you avoid food and just drink juices. This is your problem. She says, you must definitely be getting bored because you are jobless. So Kaiseon says, yes, you had said you would go to hang out with me? So she says, yes, but I had also said, when I become free. And right now I have a lot of work. Therefore, do not demotivate me and go from here. The next day, Kaiseon starts to go for jogging. So Miju also comes and says, I will also go with you. Then Kaiseon starts running fast. So running behind him, she gets tired and stops. And she tells him to stop too. I cannot run fast like you. So Kaiseon starts training her. Then they both run together. After which Miju gives him juice. This is the reward for what you taught me. In the next scene, Kaiseon says to Miju, today the weather is very good. Will you go to a place with me? Miju refuses at first but agrees on his insisting. Then they both come to a mountain place. There, Kaiseon takes Miju to meet his teacher, who offers them a drink. Then those people talk a lot together. Miju gets drunk and starts talking weirdly. So the teacher tells Kaiseon, take her from here. Then Kaiseon brings and lays her down in the car. So she holds his hand and says, you stay right here. Then she tells him, the talk I did of helping you was a lie. I just wanted to see you in my house. If I sleep after getting drunk, then you wake me up early in the morning, because then I will be able to see you more. Then in sleep, she says to him, can you like me? So he says, that I already do. Then he keeps looking at her just like this. The next day, Miju's eyes open. So she sees Kaiseon sleeping on the adjacent seat too. Looking at him, she thinks he is like some child. Just then, he also wakes up and says, good morning to her. Then Kaiseon's teacher says to both of them, if you both have woken up, then come and eat breakfast. Then they eat breakfast together. Then they both are coming back. Miju, remembering about the night, gets embarrassed and says to him, did I do anything wrong getting drunk at night? So he says, you do not need to think much, you should rest. In the next scene, Miju's student Jong tells her, I have a project. A careless person in our staff who was working on this project has run away, but he has created a mess for us. Therefore, I am requesting you handle that project in his place. You have all the knowledge about movie translation anyway. I will also get you a good budget. Miju says, the project I was currently doing is completed. Therefore, I will help you. So Jong happily tells her about a movie, which is going to release in the theaters. She gives 2 tickets for it to Miju. You can also take someone else with you. In the next scene, Miju tells Mei Yi, we both will go for that project. There will be a little bit of enjoyment too. She also tells her, there's a movie premiere. So Mei Yi says to her, take Kaiseon with you there. She says, but he does not like movies. Still, I will try. In the next scene, Kaiseon has come to his house to take his clothes. So his dad says to him, why did you take the decision of retirement? Those people were just going to suspend you for 6 months. He says, but I am not interested. Dad says, then you marry Dana. He says, I will not do this. Dad says, you divorce her after 2 years and take retirement only then. He says, this is my life. You cannot decide. So he says, we raised you. Do we not have any right over you? So Kaiseon says, you cannot manipulate me like this. He starts to leave from there. So his dad's secretary gives him movie tickets. Dad says, you go there with Dana. Your mom will be right there. Then while coming back, he sees Miju. So getting out of his car, he starts walking with her. She says to him, have you brought extra clothes from home? He says, yes. But while coming back, Dad had seen me. So she says, so then have you run away from home? Did they scold you? Kaiseon says, yes. They scolded me on the decision of getting retired because, according to them, this is a useless decision. She says, yes, they will be quite upset because all the efforts they did to make you an athlete went completely in vain. Kaiseon says, it does not matter to them. If I were in your place, I would definitely return to struggle in my career as an athlete. Miju says, what do track and field athletes do after retirement? He says, some athletes whose skills are good, they open training centers by becoming coaches, and some choose different careers. She says, what have you thought? He says, right now I have not thought anything. She says, is there any plan in your mind? I do not know much because I could not motivate myself because of my regrets. But I am sure you will do this. From the regret of your past, you will become better in the present. He says, then what thing motivated you? Miju says, I got motivation from fear and obsession. But you always think positive things. In the next scene, Miju tells Kaiseon, I am going to New York for 10 days for some work connection. Kaiseon gets sad and comes outside. On the other side, Lee Young is coming to his house. So seeing Kaiseon sitting on the bridge, he asks, why are you sitting here? So Kaiseon says, I have no place to go. So Lee Young gives him a drink. Then Lee Young asks him, apart from work, do you know about Dana? So he says, yes, we have a family relation. Then Lee Young takes Kaiseon to his house, where both drink while talking. Then Kaiseon falls asleep right there. The next day, Miju searches for Kaiseon everywhere in the house. Mei Yi tells her he is not at home, so she gets worried. So Mei Yi says, "What is there to worry about? He is sensible. He will be fine wherever he is." Miju thinks, has he stayed somewhere else? Right there, Kaiseon's eyes open, so there is a honey bottle near him. He remembers Lee Young had given it to him at night. "There is a lot of honey at my house. You take this with you." Kaiseon gives him the tickets to go to the movie with Dana, which his dad had given him. In the next scene, he comes home, so Miju asks him, "Did you sleep outside?" He says, "Yes. After drinking, I fell asleep right there." She says, "With whom?" So Kaiseon says, "You probably do not know him." So Miju goes inside in anger. Then Kaiseon tries to talk to her a lot, but she does not talk to him. In the next scene, Kaiseon says to Miju, "I have to go to train the children. The teacher has also come there. Will you also go?" So she says, "Okay, I will go tomorrow morning." Then the next day, Kaiseon is training the children in the park. Miju and the teacher are sitting on the side talking. The teacher says, "Kaiseon is very innocent. I am very happy that you are with him." So Miju starts laughing. Then later, Kaiseon says to Miju, "Until when are you going to stay angry with me? Come, let us talk about this." Miju says, "Why will I be angry with you? From my side, you can go and live anywhere." He says, "Then what is the problem?" So Miju says, "Could you not text me and tell me where you are? If you could not call." He says, "You could have also called and asked me." She says, "What do you think? Do I have the right to interfere in your private life?" He says, "Yes." He says, "I could not text you because before this, I did not live like this with anyone else. So it did not come to my mind." She says, "I got worried for you because you are living in my house on my saying. So you are my responsibility." Then she starts to leave from there. So Kaiseon comes behind her. She says, "I will go myself." In the next scene, Miju is waiting for Mei Yi at the premiere. She calls her. She says, "I will not be able to come because of some work." Just then, Miju, seeing Kaiseon coming there, asks Mei Yi, "What is he doing here?" So she says, "I myself had given him the ticket. You can watch the movie with him." Then both come to the theater. There, seeing Kaiseon's mom, Miju becomes nervous. Kaiseon's mom asks him, "You have come for the premiere. Who is this with you? Will you not introduce her?" Miju says, "I am your very big fan." Just then, Dad says to Miju, "You can go alone in the theater and watch the movie. Kaiseon will not go with you." Miju, before going from there, says to Kaiseon, "Will you come with me?" Then she holds his hand and says, "You came here to watch the movie with me, no?" He says, "Yes." So Miju holds him and starts to take him from there. His dad gets shocked, whereas Kaiseon becomes very happy upon Miju doing this. Then coming to the side, Miju says to him, "Why do you become nervous in front of your family? You should speak for your rights. You worry about others, you just do not take care of yourself. Were they going to arrange natural encounter with Dana? I felt you came here to watch the movie and drink with me." He says, "If I had come here to meet Dana, I would not have talked to you." On the other side, Lee Young is waiting for Dana to come in the theater, but Dana sends her secretary in her place, due to which Lee Young gets angry seeing Ki Seon after the movie, saying, "You had told me about Dana coming." Miju says, "Do you both know each other?" So Kaiseon says, "Yes, I was with him only at night." Hearing this, Miju gets embarrassed. Then Lee Young, taking both of them, comes to a bar. There, the three drink quite a lot and talk a lot. While coming back, Miju tells Kaiseon, "I and Ma Yi have to go to New York tomorrow morning." The next day, Kaiseon makes food for Miju and Ma Yi. Mei Yi says, "You have made food for 2 days." He says, "I thought you should not skip food there." Mei Yi says to Kaiseon, "Thanks," while leaving. Then, after they leave, Kaiseon does not understand anything alone, so he starts doing laundry. Looking at a shirt, he remembers Miju's words, "What will you do after retirement?" He says, "After retirement, I am doing the laundry work myself." On the other side, Miju, while eating food, remembers him. The next day, Kaiseon comes to meet his mom at the shooting place. His mom says to him, "Do you need money?" He says, "Mostly mothers scold upon their children becoming jobless." So she says, "You never criticized my work, so why will I criticize? I used to tell you to be a good boy and not tease Eunbi whenever I went to my work, so you used to do exactly that. I always supported you because earlier you always listened to me." Then she asks him, "How is my fan?" Stay nicely with her. "I do not know how you both met, but if a girl is so close that she can hold your hand, then you should treat her nicely." Kaiseon says, "Why did you marry father?" So she says, "Because I loved him." Kaiseon says, "Is everything still fine between you two even now?" She says, "No, but we are still together because of that love." On the other side, due to quite a few days of hard work, Miju gets a fever. She is still working with the team. Just then, the director says there, "We need such a driver who does not know English." Ki Seon's name comes to Miju's mind. Therefore, she calls Ki Seon and tells him, "Come here." But due to fever all night, she does not regain consciousness. The next day, with great difficulty, she goes to the hospital, so the doctor admits her. Then Ki Seon comes there. So Miju says to him, "How did you find out?" So he tells, "Mei Yi told me that you are in the hospital." Miju starts crying, seeing him. So Ki Seon, getting worried, asks her, "Are you having pain anywhere?" She says, "No, I am feeling very comforted seeing you." Then Ki Seon tells her, "Sleep," and starts talking to the patient next to her so that they do not disturb Miju. Then he brings her to the hotel. But from looking at the condition there, Kai Seon understands the reason for her sickness. Then he takes her to another hotel. She has a high fever, therefore Kai Seon takes a lot of care of her. In her sleep, she calls out to her mom, so he tells her, "Call my name. Call the one who is near you at this time." So Miju calls out to him. Then she tells him, "Hold my hand." Ki Seon holds her hand and makes her feel comforted. The next day, Miju's eyes open, so Ki Seon is not there. Then looking at herself in the mirror, she gets shocked. Therefore, she quickly puts on makeup and starts fixing her face. On the other side, Ki Seon had gone for jogging. Then Ki Seon starts bringing food and gets happy seeing Miju there. Then they both sit right there and eat food. Ki Seon, looking at her, says, "You are looking quite good." So she starts smiling. Miju says to Ki Seon, "Thanks. You took very good care of me." So he says, "Yes, my mom had said to treat you nicely." So she starts laughing. After food, Miju introduces him to that man, James, whose car Kai Seon had to drive. Telling him all the details, she tells him, "Drive carefully." So he says, "You do not need to be worried. I will manage." In the next scene, he comes to the shooting place with Miju. So Miju says to him, "You will have to sit here for some time and wait for us." So sitting there, he starts writing something in a diary. Miju brings coffee for him. She asks him, "What are you going to write?" So he says, "I brought this diary along so that I will write something, but I am not understanding." She says, "Mostly people write diaries at the end of the day because there is not so much to write during the daytime. Right now, give me your phone." She opens a movie for him and gives it, "Watch this and enjoy. As soon as I become free, I will come to you. Do not go anywhere from here." After she leaves, Ki Seon turns off the mobile and writes in the diary, "I have come to an unfamiliar place. Miju was very sick." Then in the evening, Ki Seon is sitting inside the car. So Miju comes there and gives him a drink. He again asks her, "What should I write in the diary?" So she says, "This is no homework, nor do you have to show off in front of anyone. This is for your own self." He says, "What do you mean?" So Miju says, "A diary is a slightly personal thing. People write in it only for themselves." She then says, "I had told you to watch a movie on the phone and left." So he says, "There were many movies there. I was not understanding which one to watch." Then giving him the drink, she leaves from there. Then Kai Seon starts writing about Miju in the diary. "Seeing Miju sick like this, I got scared." In the next scene, James gets angry at the film's director and starts to leave from there. So Miju tries to comfort him. She then says to Ki Seon, "Drop him to the hotel, but drive safely." Then, after a short while, Mei Yi says to Miju, "James is not picking up the phone. I feel he left the film and went away." Now the manager gets angry at Miju there. "You should have taken care." Just then, Ki Seon comes there with James and a friend. So Miju becomes happy. Then Ki Seon's dad also comes there, who gets quite surprised seeing Ki Seon and Miju there. Dad talks very nicely to Miju. He says to Ki Seon, "Do you want to come into showbiz like your mom now?" So he tells, "No, I am here as a driver." So his dad says, "Wow, you got only this work. Okay, fine. We will meet you in Seoul." Saying this, they leave from there. In the next scene, Miju is sitting alone and drinking at night. Just then, Kai Seon comes and sits with her. He has brought a lot of food for her. Then both eat food and drink together. She says to him, "This time I am feeling very motivated because of you. You leave a positive influence on people." Then Kai Seon feeds her with his hand. The next day, Kai Seon comes to the bridge while jogging. Seeing Miju there, he becomes happy. Then coming to the hotel, Kai Seon gives a packet to Miju and says, "These shoes are specially made for those people whose foot arch is higher. With this, you will be able to run easily." She says, "Why are you giving me a gift suddenly?" Kai Seon says, "Because you gave me a chance to live with you. I have moved all my luggage and had cleaned your house too. Now you go and just rest." And she says, "Why are you telling me this now? We were together for many days." So Kai Seon says, "I feel this is the right time to tell you. I wanted to tell you only after the work was completed." She says, "The timing is so much perfect that I have absolutely nothing to say." Whenever I start getting close to you, I feel as if you push me back again. When I had said, you build a wall around yourself, you did not like that thing. Therefore, I take my words back. Do not think of it in the wrong way. He says, I had told you that I did not build any wall around me. So she says, then why do I feel as if I am standing behind an invisible wall? He says, why would I do so? She says, yeah, when I am with you, I feel you are pushing me away from yourself. And this feeling is not born just like this. I am feeling hate. Then she starts to leave. But going a little forward, coming back, she says to Kiseon, I do not hate you. I felt that I am looking very weak, so I felt hate for myself. Do not hate me. He says, I do not hate you. Rather, I like you, because you had told me to like myself. Miju then says, I do not feel we should go together because I will say something that I should not say. She then goes inside. Then while coming back separately, both are thinking about each other too. In the next scene, Kai-seon is with Lee Young. Lee Young tells him, I do not have money to pay rent, so I feel I will have to leave this place. Ki-seon says, can I help you? So he happily says, if you pay the rent, then you can live with me for free. Kai-seon agrees. So Lee Young starts hugging him with happiness. So Ki-seon says, I will also live here with you. On the other side, Mi-ju is making food with Mei-yi. Mei-yi, seeing honey there, asks, what is this? So Mi-ju says, Ki-seon left this for us. Mi-ju says, I am feeling myself to be useless. I should have told him about my feelings. Now I do not know if I will even be able to see him again or not. Still, I am waiting for him to tell about his feelings first. I feel if we dated, all issues would be resolved. But I feel scared of losing him. Mei-yi says, do not tell me this. Rather, go and tell him. He left honey, so on this excuse, go meet him. Mi-ju likes this idea. Then she calls Ki-seon and tells him, meet me. In the next scene, Mi-ju comes to the park. Ki-seon stands up seeing her. Giving him the honey, she says, I have come to give this to you. Ki-seon tells her, yesterday I watched the movie of Jerry Maguire. I feel he has described me. The main hero was not able to tolerate his life's failures. He also hurt that person who always stayed with him. When he found out the importance of that person, it had become very late. But from this I realized a lot, because I was also scared that I might push you away from me. Your love gives meaning and value to my life. But I am not sure what you think about me. Mi-ju gets shocked at his words. He says, if you hold my hand, or hug, or kiss me, I will be very surprised because I want to do this. Then seeing Mi-ju quiet, he says, if you felt bad, I am sorry. Mi-ju comes close to him and kisses him. Ki-seon gets shocked. Mi-ju says, this is my answer. So Ki-seon says, can I continue this further? She says, to give me favor and to like me? He says, no, only to like you. So she says, if I stop you, will you stop? Ki-seon says, no. So she says, so all right, from now on, you have my permission. Hearing this, he becomes happy. She says, you help people without reason. Now we both will do so together. Then both go to eat food. Then while talking, they start coming back. Ki-seon tells her, I am living with Lee Young. She says, then it is good. We are neighbors. Then Mi-ju says bye to him and goes to her house. In the next scene, Kai-seon sees Yoo Seok on the way. He moves towards him, but Yoo Seok, seeing him, starts running away from him. Ki-seon, also getting worried, goes behind him. Just then, Yoo Seok, while running, falls because of his foot injury. Ki-seon, reaching him, asks him, why are you running away from me? So he says, I left my career so that I do not face you because I cannot face you. Kai-seon says to him, you do not need to run away from me. Now I have decided. I will take you forward. You will just have to listen to me and try once. You will have to stand on your feet. He extends his hand towards Yoo Seok, holding which he gets up. Then Ki-seon takes him to eat food. At night, Ki-seon was working. Then Mi-ju calls him and tells him, come outside. Ki-seon asks her, what are you doing here? So she says, after dinner, I had gone for a walk. Your house is on the way. Therefore, I thought I will meet you. Ki-seon says, I was also missing you. She says, so you should have told me. Ki-seon says, I thought you would be busy in your work. So she says, have you got a job? He says, I will tell after some time what work I am doing. I will also need your help. Then he holds Mi-ju's hand and starts walking. He says, this night walk is very beautiful. I like being able to meet you without making any excuse. She says, still, I like that missing you also becomes an excuse to meet you. The next day, Kai-seon comes home after doing grocery. So Lee Young calls him and says, my metal lunchbox must be lying in the fridge. Come and give it to you food. Kai-seon says, but I have started making food. He says, I do not want you to do any more housework. Therefore, come. Ki-seon then starts to go to Lee Young. So outside the college, Dana's brother collides with him. He says to him, what are you doing in the college? Ki-seon says, who are you? So, removing his golden mask, he tells him, I am Dana's brother. We met 5 years ago at your dad's birthday party. I am not good at sports. Therefore, I hate you. Ki-seon says, I am not an athlete now. So he says, then what are you doing? So he says, I will tell soon. Now a boy there recognizes Dana's brother because he had made hate comments on his profile. He starts hitting him. So Ki-seon holds his hand and starts running, taking him away from there. Lee Young, seeing Ki-seon running like this, comes behind him. That boy also runs behind them. Then Ki-seon hides in a place with Dana's brother and Lee Young. Lee Young says to Ki-seon, how do you run so fast? Then Ki-seon gives him his drive. Lee Young gets very angry at Dana's brother because he had made hate comments on his account too. Just then, Dana's brother faints. So Ki-seon and Lee Young take him to the hospital. Coming to consciousness, he says, sorry to Lee Young and Ki-seon. In the next scene, Ki-seon is with Mi-ju in the cafe. He says to her, I want you to apply for the marathon race. He also gives her the application form. He also tells her, I have already applied as an instructor. She says, I will come wearing the shoes given by you in the race. Ki-seon says, I am also waiting for when you will wear those shoes. Our every single footstep describes our emotions and energy. I read this in a book. Then Mi-ju gifts him a book whose title is Practice Loving Myself. She says, you had said, I do not know how to love myself. Books also teach what we did not learn in school. He says, have you read it? She says, yes. She reads him a line. Do not put your feet in the shoes that do not fit you. She says, I like this line very much. Ki-seon says thanks to her. In the next scene, Mi-ju watches a movie on the projector with Ki-seon. Both enjoy a lot while eating chicken and drinking. In the next scene, Dana has called Lee Young to her office. She tells him, make a painting in front of me. After looking at him for a long time, Dana says to him, please smile looking at me. He says, is this your demand? So she says, you keep smiling anyway. Do it on my saying too. Now I have understood why you have made smiling your habit. He says, you do not know me well. So Dana says, your painting has shown how cheap and rude you are. Lee Young gets surprised at her words. She says, the desire to meet you is clashing inside me. Even if there are big artists in front of me, still, I will like only you, because I like you. Then she kisses him. Lee Young gets shocked. Seeing tears in Lee Young's eyes, Dana asks him, what is this? So he says, you had told me I should stop thinking about you, then why are you doing this with me now? He then starts to leave from there, so Dana stops him. He says, oh, you want to make me mad? He is crying very much. Therefore, Dana quiets him. Then she feeds him chicken for lunch, so he gets happy. The next day morning, Mi-ju, while jogging, does running practice. After which, while eating breakfast, she gets Ki-seon's call, so she tells him too. Ki-seon says to her, today we will go on a date. Then Mi-ju, getting ready, comes outside. So Ki-seon is waiting for her outside. He tells her, I am feeling as if my eyesight has become weak. So Mi-ju brings him to the doctor, who, after checking, tells him, wear glasses. But Mi-ju does not like any glasses on him. So the salesman tells them, get contact lenses. Both like this idea. In the next scene, Donna coming to Lee Young says, how annoying you are. He shockingly says, me? So she says, yes. So Lee Young says, I felt good hearing this, that you took out time to meet me. She thinks, perhaps I should not have come here at all. He says, did you say something? So coming close to him, she says, even while being busy, I have come to meet you. I do not know what you want. But for me, you are a cause of much comfort. But sometimes you have also become the cause of my disappointment. Earlier, I used to get happy just looking at your painting, but now looking at it, I remember you more. Hearing her words, he hugs her, so Dana becomes happy. In the next scene, Dana calls Yoonbi for a meeting, so she says, because I joined your agency, I am having to play golf with my dad and his friend. Dana gets shocked hearing this. Then she calls Ki-seon and tells him Yoonbi is playing golf with her dad and his friend. Ki-seon feels very bad. Therefore, he goes there. There, Yoonbi is telling about playing golf to her dad's friend. Ki-seon understands that dad is using Eunbi for his political career. Therefore, he starts taking Eunbi from there. His dad stops him, so he says to him, you stop using us for your selfish motives. Then, taking Eunbi, he comes into the car. She says to Ki-seon, thanks. I was feeling very bad there. I am proud of you that you brought me from there. Then, Ki-seon goes to drop her to the hotel. On the other side, Mi-ju comes to put the garbage bag outside. Just then, Ki-seon's father comes there and asks her about Ki-seon. Do you meet him? Because of you, he has become so spoiled. He was such a good boy. Now he does not listen to my words at all. All this is because of you. Because of you, my daughter's reputation is also in danger. Mi-ju says, why are you insulting me so much? He says, I did not raise him so that he likes a girl like you. Mi-ju says, your son is not an object. Therefore, do not talk like this. He says, disrespectful girl, how dare you talk to me like this? She says, you also do not say any such thing about Kai-seon. If you come here again to threaten me, then I will call the police. Then coming to her room, she cries a lot. Right there, when Dad goes home, seeing Kai-seon there, he says, what are you doing here? Have you come here getting scared after what you did today? So he says, not me. You should be scared. If Eun-bi also leaves you and goes away? So he says, she will not do so. She is my good daughter. Ki-seon says, therefore you are using her. Dad says, meaning you did not come here to apologize. So Ki-seon says, I do not have any regret over doing all this. So Dad says, you Seok and Mi-ju are your weakness. I cannot harm you because I love you. But if your behavior remains like this, then I can do anything. Ki-seon says, you are wrong. Mi-ju is not my weakness, rather my strength. But I am your weakness. Therefore, do not force me to hurt you. Ki-seon then, coming outside Mi-ju's house, calls her. But she does not attend the phone. He keeps waiting there for a long time. After a short while, she comes outside, so Ki-seon says, why are you not picking up my phone? She says, you go from here. Do not wait for me. So Ki-seon says, I have to talk to you. It will not take much time. Then seeing her eyes red, he asks, did you cry? Then he says to her, sorry for my father's behavior. So she says, we will talk later. If we talk right now, then some mistake will happen from me. Kai-seon says, I had told you whenever you are in pain, call me. I will reach you without wasting time. She says, seeing you, I am feeling more. I can make myself understand. He says, have I disappointed you? Do not stop yourself. I am so ashamed of you that I'm not even able to look in your eyes. So she says, it is not your fault. I do not want to speak badly about your family. But what is my fault too? My value is very dear to me. Therefore, I want to give up. You had said, you can make mistakes. Kai-seon starts looking at her shockingly. Whenever I have to face problems related to a relationship, then I break up, because I do not want to let myself get hurt much. Therefore, I do not want to meet you. The Ki-seon says, so you have to break up? Okay, then I am going from here. After he leaves, Mi-ju, looking at the shoes given by him, starts crying. In the next scene, Ki-seon goes to talk to different agencies for Yoo Seok. He is healthy now, but no one wants to keep him in their agency. This thing makes Ki-seon very sad. He then, thinking about Mi-ju, says, I am missing you a lot. He is standing outside her house. Just then, he sees Mi-ju coming with Mei-yi. So, hiding on the side, he listens to their talk. Then he thinks, I hope that she is fine. I am happy in this. Then watching a movie in the theater, he remembers all the moments spent with Mi-ju, due to which he becomes very sad. In the next scene, Lee Young is decorating the cafe for Dana's birthday. Just then, Dana's brother comes there and tells him, she is my sister. So why are you doing all this for her? Lee Young gets shocked hearing his words. Then a fight starts happening between both of them. Lee Young's friend stops them. Right there, as Kai-seon gets out of his car taking a flower bouquet, seeing Mi-ju coming in front. He stops right there. Both keep looking at each other for some time. Just then, doing all that, they come outside. Just then, Dana also comes there and seeing everyone together asks, what is going on here? Just then, suddenly fireworks happen. Everything has spread there. Lee Young says to Dana's brother, all this has happened because of you. Dana quiets them and tells them, clean the cafe. Then Lee Young says to Dana's brother, how can you be her brother when your surname is something else? So he says, this is just our family's secret, and whose birthday you are celebrating? She was not born on today's day. She was born before the older brother, but Dad registered her after the brother was born. I did not want to tell you this. I told you this so that you do not ruin her day again. In the next scene, Mi-ju is coming back home, so Kai-seon comes in front of her. She starts to run away from there, but Ki-seon hugs her from behind and says, do not go away from me. She says, I will not go. You let go of me. But Ki-seon says, I know you will go. Just stay with me like this for some time. Why did you not teach me? She says, what? So Ki-seon says, how to do a breakup. Both start crying. He says, can you please like me? Mi-ju says to him, why are you crying? My heart is hurting like this. So he says to her, sorry. So Mi-ju, hugging him, says, you can cry as much as you want. Then both are in the car. Mi-ju says to him, you have done a very good job by lightening your heart in front of me. And he says, I got scared of losing you. So she says, I have also missed you a lot, but I just had this fear someone might take our photos together. He says, nothing like this will happen. In the next scene, both are in Ki-seon's apartment. Mi-ju says to him, in your thought, who will finally stay with me for my whole life? He says, me. So Mi-ju says, that was not my meaning. Do not think much about this. I am talking about myself, that will I always be with you. So he says, you should not doubt about this. You should just take a lot of care of yourself. She says, you also take a lot of care of yourself and love yourself. With this, our relationship will become strong. She then tells him, kiss me, with which our mood becomes light. So Kai Seon kisses her. Then both spend quality time together. In the next scene, Dana comes to the beach, where Lee Young is also. Dana then spends quite a good time with Lee Young, in which Lee Young says to her, sorry, I ruined everything that day. She says, no matter, I forgave you. So he says, tell me your real birthday date. I will plan a surprise party for you on that day. She says, now no party. We will just celebrate quietly together. She says, my birthday is not so important. So he says, it is for me. Dana says to him, where will we spend tonight? So he says, what do you mean? Do you not have a place to sleep? He says, should I book a room? Lee Young laughingly says, you have come here without booking a room? So she says, yes. Will you book a room for me now? He says, this must definitely be your joke. Dana starts laughing. In the next scene, Lee Young asks Dana, are we going to live together? She says, yes. Then Lee Young, calling his mom, tells, I have some plans. Therefore, I will not come to meet you today. Then both are in a room. Lee Young, seeing Dana working, says, we are on a date. Still, you care about work. Come, let us go for a walk. The ocean is very beautiful, but it is less pretty than you. Then both, while walking on the beach, talk a lot and spend quality time. In the next scene, along with Mi-ju, Dana is also practicing for the marathon race. Lee Young comes to her seeing her running. Just then, Dana suddenly falls down. Lee Young brings her to the hospital. On the other side, Kai Seon's dad calls him and says, you date whoever you want, but you will have to marry Dana. He pressurizes him a lot. Right there, Mi-ju gets tired running. She thinks, I cannot do this. Perhaps I should quit. But her trainer says to her, you do not have to lose courage. Have to keep running. So Mi-ju starts running again. She remembers the moments spent with Ki Seon. Just then, she sees Ki Seon in front. So running, she goes to him and says, I completed the race. I am very excited. So Ki Seon says, I am also very excited. She says, this is my first finishing race. He says, I often make you wait. I want you to always wait for me like this. She says, I get happiness waiting for you. Then running, she says to Kai Seon, you catch me. So Ki Seon also runs behind her. On the other side, Lee Young drops Dana to her house with her driver. So he leaves from there, after telling Dana, take a lot of care of yourself. In the next scene, Ki Seon and Mi-ju both are eating food in a restaurant. He tells her, my dad has told me, you can date anyone, but you will have to marry Dana. Mi-ju feels very bad at this matter. She says, does Dana know about this? He says, do not know. I did not ask her, but I am sure this decision will not be acceptable to her either. Mi-ju says, if it does not happen so, then that mad woman can do anything. Ki Seon starts laughing. Then he tells her about Yoo Seok. He is quite better now. His running speed is also becoming good. Hearing this, Mi-ju gets happy. He says, now I am finding an agency for him. I want him to come into this field again. In the next scene, Lee Young says to Ki Seon, our gas stove has gotten spoiled. If we have to do barbecue, then tell Mi-ju to bring her gas stove. Kai Seon texts Mi-ju. So Mi-ju comes bringing the stove. Then Kai Seon says, we should invite Dana here too. Then those people are doing barbecue. Just then, Dana comes there. She asks Lee Young about his painting, because Lee Young had called her there speaking of the painting. Because of Lee Young's lie, Dana starts hitting Lee Young, so Ki Seon stops both of them. Then everyone enjoys meat together and has a lot of fun while drinking. In the next scene, Lee Young shows Dana her portrait, seeing which she becomes very happy. She confesses her love to him. So Lee Young also says, I also love you very much. Just then, Dana gets her secretary's call. He tells her something, hearing which Dana immediately starts to leave from there. Lee Young asks her, what happened? So she says, just a work issue. I am going. Coming outside, Lee Young says to her, your condition is not fine. Will you drive? She says, yes, you go inside. It is cold outside. He, holding her hand, says, you call me upon reaching there. She says, all children do not get a chance to shed tears on their parents' death, nor do all parents love their children without reason. She then says to him, you live a long life, because people say extraordinary people die early. She then leaves from there. In the next scene, Kai Seon and Mi-ju are together. Both have worn matching dresses. Ki Seon makes food for Mi-ju. He says, when I used to live in your apartment, then I often used to make food for you, but you used to be asleep. Therefore, we never ate food together. Mi-ju, tasting the food, says, this is very delicious. I ate such food once in a restaurant when I had gone to Italy for movie work. That is a very beautiful place. Kai Seon says, okay, we both will go there together. She starts telling him about her visit. So Kai Seon gets very happy hearing her words. He says, when we go there together, Then we will have a lot of fun. In the next scene, Dana comes to the hospital. Her dad gets very happy seeing her. He says to her, "You are my very lovely daughter. I love you very much." Dana gets shocked at his words because he had always degraded Dana. Dana used to work very hard so that she can prove that she is responsible. Today, hearing her praise from his mouth, Dana becomes emotional. Then after some time, Dad dies. Everyone starts crying there. In the next scene, Lee Young goes to meet Dana upon hearing this news. She says to him, "I was busy mourning his sorrow, but I have to think about the next step." Lee Young hugs her and consoles her. She says, "Seeing my dad's death, I am thinking that someday I will also die like this, but your future is waiting for you. Therefore, I want you to spend your time wisely. Perhaps I will not be with you." Lee Young starts crying. She says, "We both know what the end of our relationship will be. I cannot be your happy ending. I do not have much time for this because I have to keep moving forward." Lee Young goes away from there emotionally because his heart was very broken from this breakup. On the other side, Mi-ju makes food for Ki-seon. When he tastes it, she says, "I made it by following the recipe. Did it not turn out good?" Ki-seon says, "It is not like that. This is very tasty." So he says, "Then why are you sad?" He says, "Just, I am thinking about my sister. She got more affection from Dad's side. Very little of my time was spent with Dad. Today I have heard something shocking about him. If I did not tell her, then she will remain a fool, and if I tell her this, then she will be very hurt. I do not want to hurt her." She says, "You always do what you think, so you never have regret. Then why are you having hesitation now? Because you are also hurt by that matter." He becomes quiet, so Mi-ju consoles him by hugging him, thinking, "My sister will be hurt. Do not hide the truth from her. If she is hurt, then hug her and make her realize being with her. Family is for this only." Oh, he then says thanks to her. In the next scene, he tells Yoonbi, "Dad has always used you for his success. He does not care about you at all. He himself had caused your breakup so that you always remain under his control." Hearing this, she gets very hurt. He says, "I will tell Mom this matter too." Then he calls his mom and tells her, "Dad has used Yoonbi for his success." She gets shocked. She is out of country for a movie. She comes back and fights with him. "How can you do this with my children?" She then says to him, "I will give you a divorce." He stops his wife a lot, but she says, "Now I cannot live with you. You had married me for power too, and always used my children for your success too. Now you live alone in your successful life." In the next scene, Lee Young comes to Dana's office. Giving her a painting, he says, "I will not take much of your time. Time is important for you, but for me, you are important." She, looking at the painting, says, "You have put your heart into this." He says, "You have already taken my heart." So Dana says, "Do you want that back?" Lee Young says, "No, you keep it with yourself. Keep it with you until this slowly goes away from inside you." Dana starts crying, so Lee Young quiets her. Then she hugs him. He says, "I want to keep liking you because this is my choice. Will you still stop me now?" So she says, "No, now I will not stop you." He then kisses her forehead and says, "You also live a long life and never fall sick. You are my first love." She says, "Okay, I will live long and will never fall sick." After which, Lee Young goes away from there. In the next scene, Ki-seon comes to Mi-ju quite dressed up. She asks him, "Oh, what is the reason?" So he says, "I have got a job." So Mi-ju, hugging him, says, "I am very happy for you. I am proud of you." Then both spend a good time together. In the next scene, Ki-seon taking Lee Young comes to the stadium, where he was appointed as an agent. There Yoo Seok is as a player. Ki-seon says to Yoo Seok, "He will make your portrait. He is an artist." Yoo Seok becomes very happy hearing this. In the next scene, Ki-seon is writing a diary. Just then, Mi-ju comes and hugs him. Ki-seon says to her, "What happened?" So she tells, "I liked a Korean movie very much. It is being translated again, and I got its project." So Ki-seon becomes very happy. She then takes his diary from Ki-seon and puts a great job stamp on it. She says to him, "Just like this, teachers used to give autographs on their students' diaries." Ki-seon becomes happy. In the next scene, Dana comes to an art gallery. There, seeing a painting, she gets shocked because her portrait is in it. She understands that Lee Young has made this. So she says, "I missed you a lot." Just then, she looks back. So Lee Young is standing there. He, looking at her shoes, says, "These are looking good on you. This also, and my painting also." She says, "Yes, because these both are yours." He then asks her, "What about the painting?" She says, "I am forced to think what you are made of, that you painted like this as if I live in your heart. Today I will celebrate my birthday." Lee Young says to her, "Happy birthday." Then both start laughing. In the next scene, Ki-seon and Mi-ju are running. She says, "We both are different from each other and are from different worlds, but still, we are connected with each other. Therefore, if we ever do not understand each other, then we do not have to be disappointed. Rather, we have to support each other. Ki Seon says, "Did I say I love you to you?" Mi-ju, looking at him shockingly, says, so he says, "This is the time to say this. I love you." He then starts running, so Mi-ju also runs behind him. In the next scene, Yoo Seok, winning the marathon race, puts his medal on his grandmother. She becomes very happy because this was her dream for Yoo Seok. In the next scene, Ki Seon's dad, coming to the theater, gives a bouquet to his wife. Then there, he watches the movie with Eunbi and them. There, Dana has come with Lee Young, and Ki Seon is sitting with Mi-ju. This is that movie which Mi